shallow now than I did before. Boy, this, you talk about search memory banks, it really does it. Okay. This is really far out. It hasn't changed all that much, you know. I don't think it ever will. We used to play, come out and chase whatever we could chase. Rats, cats, everything. When the snow was high, we used to jump off the top of the, was a shed. You'd store stuff in there. And for the life of me, even then, this portion of this yard was always blocked off. We could never get up on top of this roof and play, and if you did, it was a no-no. And I guess why I used to think that maybe this is where the rich people lived. You know, used to pile orange crates over here and just get up there. Maybe it was because it was boarded and you weren't allowed up there. It's because we really wanted to go. I'm a healthy specimen, and this is where I came from. And there's nothing the matter with this place. And you know, and this is how I feel about it. You know, and somebody asked me about, what about your childhood? What about it? You know, what about the skinny, cross-eyed, bow-legged kid that used to play in his backyard? And now I'm sitting on the threshold of life. And this was home. It's a funny feeling going through me right now. We had bunk beds up here where we could all get in. And then we turn around, and here we used to sit and fight to look out the window. And in the evening, of course, it was a pretty sight too, because it was a cross up there that lit up. And the cars going up and down over the bridge. But right out here, we used to sit and fight to see who's going to look out the window. And I really don't know at what. I want to say that, you know, we're looking to see maybe what tomorrow is going to bring. We knew that there was another world beyond the track.
Ken got to the world beyond the track on a motorcycle. At 16, he rode for Joey Chitwood's Congress of Canadian Daredevils. But after only 3 weeks, he broke his leg. The Canadian Daredevils moved on with someone else on Ken's bike. But Ken didn't give up. Next year, he was back. This time with the International Hell Drivers and the All-American Daredevils, with Billy Brown, Paul Riddell, and Earl the Squirrel. He learned all the usual stunts, high and low skis, brick wall crashes, and T-bones. The dive bomber was impressive, but not good enough for Ken. He wanted to jump faster, higher, and further. He didn't know if he could do it, and there was only one way to find out. This was his very first try to jump 60 feet. Ten minutes later, he tried again. And again, and again, till he got it right. Then, he painted up an old bus and took his own show on the road. The crowds loved it, and the kids went crazy for him. Just to see him, to touch him, to talk to him. Ken Carter was becoming a star. They called him the Mad Canadian.
I remember once in jumping, I had a brush with death. And every time that I'm on the operating table, I feel that way. You know, waking up in the green room, cold. You know, just everything is green and you're frozen. And you just feel like you're waiting to go wherever you're going, hell or heaven. You know, that's what it feels like to me. I mean, you know. But I got upside down in a car one time, jumping, ran out of gas on the ramp and got hemmed in the car. And I could smell the gas. The car was upside down, the wheels were off of it, and people were trying to get me out of a hole the size of a 50-cent piece. And one guy was hollering, "Let's get the torches and cut a hole in the car." And meanwhile, I was hanging in there and just waiting for that first spark to light up the car. And it would have just, there was no way that I couldn't have put it out. I can't really think of any other one other than broken ankles, kneecaps, smashed chest when that steering in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, up there at Green Bay. When the steering wheel punched me in the chest. That was another close one because, you know, you always think in terms of the front of your body as your mechanism, you know, like the heart, the rib cage. You know, it's just like the business, you know, like 15 years ago, I remember guys going over the Niagara Falls in a wheelbarrow. Who wants to do that? I mean, you really, you know, I'd go and see that, and then, but then the moment somebody got dead, I think I'd never go back, you know. I mean, I wouldn't really want to say, well, why would he do that, you know? And then you got Petit Philippe who walks across Paris. You know, that'd be nice to see, but gee, if he ever fell, I think I'd close my eyes.
Ken jumped over 8, 10, a dozen cars. He jumped chuck wagons, cement trucks, and he got hurt. He was getting older, his bones were more brittle, and they took longer to mend. But today, Ken Carter's still on the road. Albuquerque, New Mexico, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Alabama, North Bay, Ontario. 50,000 miles a season. It's a tough life, but Ken likes it, and he makes good money.
Travel constantly with a protege, a gentleman who is not only a protege, but a good friend of mine, and he's the only man.
Ken has reached the stage where he could afford to take a back seat, strictly promote and manage the up-and-coming young Ken Carters, men like Tom Berry, who with just 7 jumps under his belt is new to the game, is new to that special excitement of being a daredevil.
Appreciate a nice round of applause as he gets it. Right on. Yeah, I don't blame you there. Tom Berry.
Why do you like jumping? Why? Psychiatrists have all sorts of theories and reasons and whatnot. They say everything from people having masculinity complexes to suicidal tendencies, and I really don't think it's any of those. There's a thrill involved, definite thrill you get out of it. It's a kind of a psychic ecstasy that comes from that shot of adrenaline you get when you're pushing yourself to the limits of mental and physical endurance. I was told a long time ago by my mother, of all people, she said, if life is boring, risk it.